The Big Boys, the pinnacle of steam on the Union Pacific. A name so famous that it transcends the realm of railfans, known throughout the world as the largest steam locomotive ever made, and an engineering marvel. Here's a question. How do you get a 3,600-ton train up the 1.1% grades of the Wasatch Mountains without double heading? This was the question Union Pacific was asking itself in the late 1930s. For the answer, they turned to Otto Yabelman and his team at the Union Pacific's own engineering department in conjunction with the American Locomotive Works. Their answer? You take the existing 3900 class Challenger, add 2 more sets of driving wheels, increase the size of the firebox from about 140 square feet to about 157 square feet, increase the size of the boiler, and increase the boiler pressure from 280 to 300 psi. The resulting locomotive would end up being 133 foot long, 16 foot 4 inches tall, and weigh in at over 1.2 million pounds. They would develop a maximum tractive effort of a whopping 135,375 pounds and could reach a top speed of up to 80 miles per hour. Thanks to an unknown chalk-wielding Alco employee, they would be named the Big Boys. The Big Boys were delivered to the Union Pacific from 1941 to 1944 in 2 batches numbering 4000 to 4019 and 4020 to 4024. They served their railroad amicably on the line between Cheyenne, Wyoming to Ogden, Utah until the late 1950s and early 1960s when they would eventually be withdrawn and later scrapped. Luckily, 8 Big Boys remain today, with one operating example, number 4014. And that is a very brief history of the Union Pacific 4000 class. After all, we're not here to cover the real things. We are here to cover the approximation of the real thing in Train Simulator Classic, built by the well-known and well-liked developer, Smokebox. Included in the pack for $24.99 on Steam, you will find several different variations of the Big Boy, all based on the original drawings of the first batch of Big Boys delivered in 1941. Variations include Clean, Dirty, and Silver Trim. Also included are SD or Standard Detail versions of each of the listed variants. The Standard Detail versions omit many of the finer details and are intended for people with less powerful computers. Also included in this pack is an assortment of period-correct rolling stock, which include boxcars, flat cars, reefers, coal hoppers, tank cars, and cabooses. While the rolling stock does feel a bit dated, it gets the job done. This pack also features one of the most in-depth manuals in the entire game. It leaves no aspect of the pack untouched, and I would definitely recommend players at least skim through the manual before getting started. This locomotive features some of the best modeling and texturing in Train Sim Classic to date. Seemingly every nut and bolt has been replicated in 3D on this model. The texturing of the locomotive does a great job of capturing the look of real metal. Clean locomotives feature what I can only describe as a used look, while dirty locomotives accurately portray built-up dirt and grime that a locomotive would accumulate in day-to-day operations. All of this adds up to a model that gets as close to photorealistic as I believe a locomotive can, given the limitations of this game. This locomotive also comes with a ton of really cool animations and features. There are way too many to name every one, but a few of my favorite include working classification lights, realistic headlight flares, stowable front coupler, operational smokestack hood, fully animated brake rigging, animated bell that coincides with the bell sound, opening water hatches, a fully functional cab, animated power reverser, animated throttle linkage, working signal foam meter and automatic blowdown, optional smoke deflectors, and that's just to name a few. The running gear of this locomotive has also been recreated with the absolute highest fidelity. Everything from the piston rods, connecting rods, valve gear, and lubricators all move in a way that is almost hypnotic. When it comes to simulation, few do it better than Smokebox. The throttle simulation is the best the sim has to offer. When you open the throttle, it's almost as if you can feel the steam flowing from the throttle to the cylinders. Opening the cylinder drain cocks is a necessity when starting this locomotive, as failing to do so after sitting for a while will result in damage. Damage can also be caused by wheel slip, as excessive wheel slip can overspeed the running gear. Trains feel heavy, so it takes a while for them to get up to track speed. This locomotive also features Smokebox's advanced brake simulation. This means that brakes don't apply immediately, and it takes a while for heavy trains to come to a stop. Brakes also take a considerable amount of time to recharge. This means that you'll need to stay a few steps ahead of any speed limit changes or adverse signals. If you don't feel like driving the train yourself, this locomotive features an expert automatic engineer. To access this, just click the engineer seat. Firing the BigBoy is only for the most experienced of steam operators, as this locomotive features the most in-depth firebox simulation I've seen in game so far. I would definitely consult the manual before attempting the firing process, as there are 12 individual controls related to firing this locomotive, not including the water injectors. This steam locomotive also features 2 accurately simulated water injectors. On the fireman side are the controls for the Alesco TP400 exhaust steam injector, and on the engineer side is the controls for the Nathan Type 4000 non-lifting injector, both of which operations have been fully simulated. If you're anything like me and don't want to bother with firing the locomotive yourself, just click the fireman seat to activate the expert auto fireman who will take care of the boiler for you. Simulation wise, this locomotive is as good as it gets in Train Sim Classic, but if you're familiar with Smokebox, you probably already expected that. The sounds on this locomotive are excellent. Some utilize actual recordings of UP 4014, while others have been replicated using various sound samples from other steam locomotives and sound databases. I believe that the whistle, bell, and injector sounds were created by Searchlight Simulations along with the headlight effect. The whistle on this locomotive is quailable and sounds amazing. Just listen. There are some aspects of the sounds that fall a little bit short of perfection. For example, the chuffing sounds. At lower speeds, you can hear a chuff produced from each of the 4 individual cylinders, but at about 24 miles per hour, it seems to switch to only 2 cylinders. I believe this is due to the sound limitations of Train Simulator Classic, but I cannot confirm for certain. This DLC has a little bit of everything. Great modeling and texturing, fantastic scripts and simulation, and awesome sounds. It really is an all-inclusive package, and I truly don't have anything bad to say about it, which is rare for a train sim DLC, but not rare for Smokebox. This package epitomizes everything I love about train sim and simulators in general. It allows you to do what is seemingly impossible. You and I can't drive a big boy in real life, we just can't. But thanks to the hard work and dedication of Smokebox, we can get pretty close. Suffice it to say, this is a must-have DLC for Train Simulator Classic, and is one of the reasons that despite all the new train sims that have come out in recent years, I still keep coming back to this one. This locomotive and other Smokebox products have given me endless hours of enjoyment in this game. Thank you to everyone who was involved in making this one of the best DLCs for Train Simulator Classic. An especially heartfelt thank you to Mike, the man behind Smokebox, for making this game better with every release. Truly, thank you so much, and I can't wait to see what you do next. Hey guys, it's Brandon from Louisiana Highball Productions here. Just want to say thank you for sticking around to the end. This video is completely different from anything that I've done before, and it was a huge learning curve, learning how to edit all this and get used to editing software and shooting all the film and doing the voiceovers. It was just completely different than something like my old content where I just kind of played the game and did all that. So I really hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, like and subscribe. I'm planning on doing more of this, especially whenever the Searchlight Simulations SD70 ACUs come out, the NS ones. But other than that, thank you all for watching, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.